Today I'd like to introduce the PrimaryDock Anisotropy test utility. And it looks something like this. So this is actually a graph of binding strength by angle. And we can go to the viewer, and here's just whatever random molecule it loaded. And we can open Anisotropy. And this shows us in 3 dimensions what we were just looking at. Here's our target atom. We'll zoom in here. And these are just dummy heliums representing the atom geometry, which we see as trigonal planar. It's a pi atom. And we got this sort of probe up here that's looking at the target atom. So if I go back, this is what the probe sees. It's this interaction. We can also probe another molecule. I'm going to try ether. And I count carbon 1, 2, oxygen 3, so O3 is our target atom, hydrogen probe. And now we see this. So this is the anisotropy map for tetrahedral oxygen. And if we open up Anisotropy again, we see the oxygen is tetrahedral. It's got 4 geometry markers. And we can compare and rotate. And zoom in past the clip. And now we see the same orientation in the 3D view and the graph. So this is a pretty powerful little tool that we can use to visualize atom geometries and anisotropies, including for debugging purposes to make sure that the intermolecular and non-covalent bindings are working as they should, with the correct angles in 3-dimensional space. Thank you for watching and enjoy PrimaryDock.